investigators to uncover old crimes. And how they do that? By tapping into the information in the field, the information that was being written by the criminal, or not only the criminal, but what happens at the time of the crime. So everything is being recorded. Believe it or not, your thoughts are being monitored. It might sound weird for the atheists. It might sound like some creepy or some stupid information I'll give you now, but everything is being recorded. And how do I know? Oh, because my grandmother told me that. No, it's not because of that. Because I have the age when I've encountered experiences and I went logical. So I used to be an agnostic person and I did not believe in such a thing. And I took it very slow and progressive, and I took it one step by one step, and I was an open mind, and I'm an open mind person, thinking uh, what's possible, what's not possible. Is it possible what's being written in the Bible? Because at some point I kept away from the Bible. I didn't want to touch the Bible because when I first read few things, few pages, I thought such a big pile of crap. I don't want to poison my mind with misinformation. And but I had some occurrences in my life, things like thoughts about future events, and I thought, oh, how the heck is possible? How that is possible? Because I'm a normal being, and why I was able to sense what was going to happen a few days later. And it kept happening because the more I focus on that, the more often I discover that I was able to receive information from somewhere, and from where I don't know. And I'm thinking that's kind of interesting. At first I thought I'm amazed of my ability. Then it became more of a normal. So at first I was kind of bragging about, because it was new to me. But then I said, you know what? Depends who's the person I'm talking to, because if I talk to someone who don't believe in such a thing, I'm just wasting my time, and someone at some point will make me feel bad about me being some idiot or some weird guy. I don't want to appear like that, so sometimes I share, but many times I say, you know what, okay, I got another one, okay, I got another one right. Oh yeah, this one was not right because it was actually my intellect. My intellect, which is my brain processing. My intellect was processing some thoughts, images, and was making up stuff, which when you're not trained, and I'm not a trained person in this type of field, when you're not trained, very easily to mistaken what the brain is making up and what your psychic gift provides for you, like what information you get from the field. So those people who are trained, they know, okay, I'm meditating, or I'm ignoring my self-talk, my thoughts, I'm ignoring my mind, my monkey brain, and now what it is what is coming from outside my brain, which some people call it mind, which is a form of energy that connects to unseen world. And the more you believe in this type of things, the more you believe in God, in divine creatures and stuff, and in the unseen, the more you connect to those. And also there are people who connect with bad beings. Now, there is such a thing, bad beings, yes. People talk about devils, about the bad spirits and all that stuff. Yes, it's part of another reality, and I'm just going down. I want to explore. So while I'm talking, I want to explore and learn at the same time. I'm not just here to record. But the thing is, it's a bit slippery, so I did not foresee that, because my mind was not focused on where I'm stepping. My mind was focused on talking and exploring and stuff. Usually I pay attention to stuff, and I think I crashed my drone here once, or it looks very similar. No, I think I crashed my drone here. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, so I'm still recording. Yes, I'm still recording. I thought there's no point. I've been onto this little cliff and nice ocean view, but now I have to hold my phone. I have to do this and that. And yeah, so the field is making everything, every single atom. And how this is possible? Because in the physics class we learned that the atom is something made out of different particles, like small particles, and with nuclei, and in the nuclei you have neutrinos, protons, and all sorts of other little things compacted into a heavy mass, and some very light electrons that are flying, are gravitating around the nuclei, right? So that is the concept that came from long time ago, from Bohr. It's a chemist or something who came up with this concept, and it's a great concept because it can be verified. So our world development, research, advancements in different fields were possible because of this atom model. And it was possible, and those possibilities and advancements just confirm every time we use that concept. They confirm that this is a correct model. So why would we change that? Why should we think that the model is wrong, since it proves that it works? So let's say the model is okay, but you haven't thought that those electrons are actually condensed form of energy. And it's like you take a piece of software, right? Take a piece of software which is soft, which is like something that you can't touch. It's energy, and it's energy, encoded energy. It's a thought. It's a thought being written somewhere onto a material form. But if you take just as an information, it's software. You can't touch the software. I mean, the information can be stored on something that you can touch, but the software, the information itself is it's an energy. It's a thought. So you can create with the software. You can create things. You can create virtual humans. You can create artificial intelligence. You can create characters. Okay, and those characters are software characters. So same thing with this, our reality we live in. It is made out of information, and the information made these atoms, which is filled, condensed clusters of energy. And it's like let's say, to convert into our normal reality, normal thinking, personal reality, we have grains of sand, and we think of those grains of sand as atoms, as microparticles, and you can make a sand castle. Same thing you can make with atoms. You can make a piece of metal, you can make a car with different type of grains of sand, right? Grains of sand, bigger, longer, more flexible, all that stuff. So the same thing you can create in this world with those small atoms. And you will say, yeah, but atoms it's a solid thing. It's atom is something that you can weigh, you can put into a system that can measure the weight, and there is a weight. Oh, of course, because we were built to think that weight is part of our reality. And how is possible if there was no gravity between the particles, no attraction force between the particles, there would not be weight, so you could not measure the weight of an item. But this gravity comes from the small tiny forces of the field that is making those atoms, right? So, but how the atoms are stable? The atoms are stable because every subatomic particle have information encoded, telling the, let's say, those virtual electrons that spin around the nuclei. It tells, that information tells those clusters of energy that appear for us as electrons, tell how fast to move, how big is the force, and how the vectors of motion are being written. So what's the information in those particles that makes the design look like a stable design. So let's say if you take the information out of the electron, you modify the information in the field, the electronic field, so, or the information of each electron. What happens? The atom as a system becomes unstable. Why? Because now, let's say you modify the trajectory, you modify the force, the pulling force, the gravitational force of the electron. It tells you that the electron is either going to hit the nuclei, or it might fly off the orbit and it might jump to another electron. But you can't just write information about one atom. So when you write the program about these atoms, you write the information about all identical atoms. Yes, it's cheaper or it's faster to write information about the substance itself, and all identical atoms have the same encoded information. So when you modify the software, the design, and you tell these electrons, you know, you have the pulling force or the gravitational force this much, then what happens? The whole substance disintegrates, or the whole substance collapses, right? So you, in order to need a very stable substance, you need to write the correct information in every program that makes those atoms. So that's how the atomic world was designed. But also, beside that, it's not only the information about the substance, it's the information about how the events, how things that are not physical are being stored. So when we do something, we do things based on a program, based on an information that can be changed, can be stored, can be moved around, very similar to the computer software people make. I don't want people to listen to what I'm talking about. And so we make our lives based on programs. In our world, programs are under different forms and different sizes. So we can build a program, let's say, to make us smoke all the time. That's we call it habit or vice. We can create programs when we create a computer software. We create programs when we make food, a recipe, and we create programs of, let's say, when we construct something. We construct, even when we make metals, we melt two metals together. That means we take the recipe of the combined alloy, and that's a program. And it's a program at the hardware level, in our reality. But deeper than that, we take the programs that actually make the atoms and the substance, let's say one metal, and the program that makes another substance, and we combine those things. But how we combine it? Because we learn, we pass the information from generation to generation. That's the way you do it. So we take the programs that were created by whoever created our world, and we alter those programs. And we take rocks which is made out of a bunch of atoms, like a huge bunch of huge number of atoms. And in energetic world, it's a bunch of structures based on a specific design. A bunch of atoms arranged into certain type of order, might be modified and might have a defined kind of a limit in space. So you have the shape of the rock I see by having the program written when the rock breaks, where is the weakest point, all that stuff. So you can get deeper into this detail and understand how it's possible to have a physical world, because it's physical from our perspective. People and creatures who live in this physical reality, who can interpret the information through our five senses. So we were equipped with five senses, so because we were supposed to receive and process this information that can be seen and touched. But now, going back to psychics are able to tap into a deeper layer of the information, and they don't know how they do it. But the mind is a program. It's a very intelligent piece of software or a program. If I call it software, then people get confused with programs made by humans. But the mind is a very complex, we call it artificial intelligence because we relate to software. But in the spiritual world, it's like the artificial intelligence software created by humans, but at totally different level of complexity. Okay, and it's not only connected to our brain as an intellect. A brain is a computer that processes the senses from around us and helps us to navigate throughout this material world as physical beings, the way we are supposed to sense as ourselves and everything around as physical items and material and beings. And the mind is connecting, is attached to the intellect, and some people are able to use more of the intellect, especially intellectuals people. They use more of the power, brain computing power, than people who are psychics. So the psychics don't use the intellect. I mean, they are smart people, or not dumb, but they rely more on the mind, which is connecting the human being as an energetic being to the field around and to the information around. And how these people do is when they get in tune with information they are looking for. So each information has encoded information, encoded, it's an energy that it's encoded in a certain way. It's like a program. So if I want to search the internet for certain type of programs, then the internet will pop up some ads, but if I ignore the ads, the internet will show me the programs I'm looking for. And could be program related to a website which is a program. Could be information programmed by some software engineer, could be a piece of software, could be a design, an architectural design. So if I ask this Google search or other type of search engine, I ask the internet for a program, I'm getting the information. Same thing when you ask the information for the information in the universe, it's like asking the big Google. But the thing is, it's not like opening up the computer. Every person can do that. Open up a computer, log into Google and do a search. In order to log into Google, you actually need to have some basics. You have to know how to press the power button of the computer. You need to know how to wait till some software is loading and all that. And in our world, it's simple because we've done that so many times. And we got this help from the software engineer and hardware engineers that helps us make this search very easy, right? But the more often we do it, the more easy it appears. So when we first time were given a computer, we never knew anything about the computer, or just take the computer, giving the computer to a child who never used the computer. He has to learn first where to press this letter, what button, what means this icon on the screen. So the kid has to learn how to read what it says on the screen and all that. So let me see, I still have 55 minutes. Wow. I have to finish this one for an hour. So same thing with these psychics. It's not like, okay, I'm going to concentrate and I'm going to ask the universe, tell me how my ride is going to be back home. Oh yes, I'm being told that it's going to be a cop car somewhere. No, it's not like that. So you have to go through learning process, and you have to learn step-by-step information that is being required, like a prerequisite in order to access the information in the field. And if I disappointed you, if I told you something that you did not expect, or you expected more, you expected the secret how to connect to the field, and oh yes, I want to connect to Jesus, please. Okay. Oh yes, I see already some lines. I think he's coming. Okay, he's coming. Okay. Oh, that's the way you do it. So it's not quite like that. Again, those who have a natural gifts, they have to work less in order to achieve and access this type of information. And for most people, it's not worth it, because it's like me trying to go to the gym to build a huge body. No, I have to put too much effort. So I'm fine. I don't really need that type of ability to be strong and lift 20 girls on my shoulders and 20 nephews and attached to my body. No, I don't need that, or to be able to do some magic at the magic show. So I know my purpose, and I'm stuck with that, or I go with that because it's easier for me. And yeah, so you have to put the effort, but first you need to be open to learning. It's like you are open to learn a computer. So if you are open to learn the computer, then at some point, after some effort and some practice, you will be able to learn how to search on the internet and do maybe design a nice church or a nice building using other programs. Same with psychics. So you have to learn some things at first, some simple things, then you get to access certain programs which are in the field, informational programs, and those programs will help you to access more information. So it's like some magicians are using spells, are using certain practices and rituals. Those are programs. So a ritual is, the name implies, it's a ritual. It's actually a program. So you access a information by practicing or applying a program, a specific sequence that gives you the information you are looking for. So same thing, when you open your laptop, you use some programs that gives you access to certain information over the internet, which is in the field. Same thing with psychics. So if you don't have the gift, if you don't have internal access to the programs, so you may have to use apply some external programs that help you to access the information. And I'm not getting into those type of details, but there are people who are control freaks and who want to have control and power over other people, and they think, oh, I want powers, I want abilities, I want gifts and all that. Why they would want that is because their control freak nature makes them feel in control, and they know that having information about someone else gives them power. Like people who start wars, they send out spies, and they think that's the way to win the war. Okay, so I let you go. I have 1 hour and 3 seconds, and gorgeous weekend here in the Vancouver area. And if you had the patience for 1 hour to stick around, probably you have the patience to dig around the internet and find more information related to this topic that help you understand the non-physical world. So I gave you a glimpse that you can find this type of information about how atoms are being constructed and stuff. And why you can't find that? Because you can either deal with scientists who think from the material point of view, or you deal with psychics who deal with energies and all that stuff. But only if you connect the fields together and they look out from outside the box, and they make a unique world, or they explain as a unique world. And I'm one of those who been from agnostic and experiences that type of thinking, and I slowly open my mind to understand the energy type or energy side of the world. So I'll see you later. Bye bye.